Hello, my name is Zoe Mattering, and I attend Miracosta College. And welcome to my presentation on the magic behind the Walt Disney Company and the discipline of financial accounting. For my thesis, I state that the Walt Disney Company's financial health is attributed to the success of their many amusement parks, films, and their new streaming platform, Disney+. Considering the magnitude of the company, Disney performs well in terms of their financial abilities. However, the amount of debt they've acquired, as well as their inability to efficiently pay them off, may suggest otherwise. As for their history, in 1923, Walt Disney establishes the Walt Disney Studios, along with his brother Roy Disney, after moving to California from Kansas City, Missouri. In 1937, Walt Disney and his brother Roy, as well as their studio, produced Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, which is the world's first full-length animated film. After the release of the film, Disney gains popularity. In 1955, Disneyland opens in California. And also in 1955, Disney transitions into television with the premiere of Mickey Mouse Club, with the cast known as the Musketeers. In 1982, Disney World opens in Florida. Now the difference between Disney World and Disneyland is that Disney World has multiple parks, whereas Disneyland only has one. In 1996, Disney buys the ABC channel, which was one of the biggest company buyoffs at the time, and this is the first large company that Disney buys. Now from 2000 to the present time, Disney now owns multiple large companies such as ESPN, Marvel, Pixar Studios, 21st Century Fox, Lucasfilms, the History Channel, and so much more. Back in November 2019, Disney releases their streaming platform, Disney+. Now carrying on to their strengths and weaknesses, as previously mentioned, Disney+ is their new streaming platform, and it already has multiple iconic films and television shows that they've produced in the past. However, they still have potential to gain more subscribers and to gain more revenue through their platform. They can do this by adding more variety of titles of films they don't have on there yet. So once they add those new titles, then they could see more growth. Another obvious opportunity for growth is the production of more films for their popular franchises that they own, such as Star Wars and Marvel. And according to Global Insights, with their last Marvel film, Avengers Endgame, that grossed over $2 billion worldwide. So now to their threats and their weaknesses. Disney already had competition in the past, but now with their new streaming platform, Disney+, they're going to face competition in that industry. They already have to compete against Netflix and Amazon Prime, and now Nickelodeon is considering going online as well. Another threat to the company is that the majority of their consumers are isolated in America. And now it is already known that they have multiple parks around the world, with Disneyland in Shanghai, Tokyo, Hong Kong, and Paris. And they also have Disney Channel shows in foreign languages to appeal to other countries. However, they do not market as much as they do here in America than they do outside of the US. So if they better their marketing strategies, they could see more consumers worldwide than they do now. Another problem that all businesses are dealing with, which is the recovery from the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, Disney heavily relies on in-person interaction with their amusement parks, their stores, their hotels, and their cruise ships. So if they have to recover, they have to reopen their parks soon, already with Disneyland Shanghai. Disneyland Shanghai and a park in Florida are already considering reopening soon in May. Now they're trying to also encourage social distancing and other health precautions. They're also trying to do background checks on the guests before they enter the park, ensuring that every guest is safe. Now, for my findings on their financial performance based off of their 2019 financial annual report, we analyze different categories of how they perform. Categories include their efficiency, liquidity, solvency, profitability, their market prospects, and their revenue. Now, their efficiency and liquidity are their abilities to use their assets and to pay their debts. I analyzed their current ratio and their asset test ratio. Both of those indicate how well they use how well they use their assets to pay off their liabilities, or how the ratio between assets and liabilities. Both are current ratio is 0.9 and their asset test ratio is 0.6. Both are under 1. Now, typically a healthy company has a ratio of over 1.5. So the fact that both ratios are less than 1 indicate that they do not efficiently pay off their debts, and they have more liabilities than assets. Now for their solvency, this is their ability to pay long-term debt and to produce more revenue. Now for their debt ratio, it is 20%, and their equity ratio is 50%. The debt ratio is how much liabilities percentage-wise of their assets. So since their debt ratio is 20%, 20% of their assets is the same as their liabilities. And their equity ratio is 50%. So basically 50% of their assets is how much is equity. Next is their profitability. Their profitability is their ability to earn return in assets and investments. So the return on assets is 7.9, and the return on common stockholders' equity is 15.2. Both indicate how much they're returning in income and revenue or profits based off of their assets or their investments. Now onto their market prospects. The market prospects are used to analyze trends in in trading stock. So their price earning ratio is 19.6, and their dividend yield is 1.4%. So the price earning ratio is typically how many shares someone would purchase based off of the market price and how much they're going to earn for dividends. So since it's 19.6, typically a stockholder would purchase 19.6 shares. And their dividend yield is 1.4, so 1.4% is how much they're going to return back in dividends based off of how much they paid for their shares. Now their total revenue for 2019 is $69.6 billion. Now that is the most revenue that they've earned so far in their whole running. And the rate of growth in revenue from 2018 and 2019 is 17%, which is a very big jump. Now from the graph in the middle, I said how the total revenue for each fiscal year, you can see from 2015 to 2016, there is growth from in the 50s, in the low 50s, and 2016 to 2017 goes near the 60s. 2017 and 2018, there wasn't that much growth. However, from 2018 to 2019, you can see there's a huge jump in how much they earn in revenue. Now, if I were a financial advisor for Disney, I would, the main thing that pops out is their efficiency and their liquidity and how badly they're doing with dealing with their debt. Since most of their issues lie within the amount of debt and their liabilities, Disney should definitely either lessen their liabilities by paying off their current liabilities or avoid taking up their new ones. Another option is to increase their assets by relying on their investment funds. This can be done with advertisement and marketing strategies, and like I said, since most of their consumers are isolated in America, they should increase investment by better marketing themselves around the world. In conclusion, upon analyzing Disney's financial performance, their history, as well as their strengths and weaknesses, my findings were very interesting, and the only shocking piece was learning their lack in efficiency and their debt. They poorly manage their liabilities and their debt, but with the amount of revenue they accumulate, it really shows how well they perform in providing their products and services. Now over here, I have my works cited of the sources that I've used for this presentation. So thank you for listening, and have a good day.